Welcome to Secure AI Sessions. I'm Maya Chen. Today we're cutting straight to the core. AI as an attack surface and AI as a shield. AI attack versus AI defense. We'll map real attack families, real defenses, and the messy arms race in between. Harinder, thanks for joining.
Thanks, Maya. Glad to be here. This topic feels urgent, right? It's technical, but it's also organizational and political.
Exactly. So let's start with a quick frame. When we say AI security, what do we mean? I think we should distinguish three things up front: defending AI systems themselves, AI-powered offense, where attackers use models to hurt people or systems, and the broader notion of AI safety, overlapping with societal harms. Harinder, can you elaborate on those distinctions?
Yeah, so AI security is about the models, the training data, the prod pipelines and infrastructure, basically hardening the stack. AI-powered offense is attackers using models to generate phishing, disinformation, or to assist malware. And AI safety in policy covers bias, misinformation, catastrophic misuse, areas that increasingly blur with security. They're different lenses, but the same battlefield.
Let's rewind a little. History helps. Harinder, remind listeners where this all started. People often assume adversarial ML is brand new.
It's not. Early examples go back to things like spam filters in the 2000s. Spammers obfuscated keywords, Viagra, free, or stuffed emails with benign words to fool classifiers. Intrusion detection evasion existed too. Attackers altered packet timings or payloads to slip past anomaly detectors. And biometrics, fake fingerprints, masks, were used to fool face and fingerprint systems. Those were real-world adversarial attacks long before the term was coined.
Right. So the idea that ML can be tricked was around. Then mid-2010s, we saw the more formal adversarial examples literature.
Yes. Segedy, Goodfellow, and others showed tiny perturbations, imperceptible to humans, could make neural nets misclassify images. That spawned white box attacks, where an adversary knows model gradients, and black box attacks, where they only see outputs. The key takeaway? Models are brittle and can be confidently wrong in regions humans consider identical.
Fascinating and unsettling. Okay, let's walk the life cycle. Data, training, model, deployment, users. First, data attacks. Poisoning, backdoors, your wheelhouse, Harinder.
Data poisoning is when attackers corrupt training data so the model behaves badly. Goals vary: availability attacks to make a model broadly unusable, or integrity attacks that cause specific misclassifications. Systems that rely on user-generated content or scraped web data are especially exposed. A concrete vector: fake accounts or coordinated campaigns flooding social platforms to bias recommender systems or moderation models.
And backdoors are a special case, right?
Right. Backdoors embed a hidden trigger in training data, like a tiny sticker pattern in images or a specific phrase in text, so the model behaves normally unless it sees the trigger. Then it switches behavior. Research has found fine-tuning code models with subtle poisoned snippets can create backdoors that stay dormant under normal tests, evading standard validation and static analysis. Examples in the literature include attack names like simple, covert, Trojan puzzle, approaches showing how dangerous and stealthy these backdoors can be.
So if your training set is the whole internet, how do you know nobody snuck landmines in? Good question. Okay, let's move to model-level attacks, adversarial examples, and model stealing.
Adversarial examples are basically evasion attacks, crafted inputs that look benign to humans but cause misclassification. There are one-pixel attacks, adversarial patches, and physical examples. The 3D printed turtle that models misclassified as a rifle is a famous illustration of physical world attacks. On the algorithmic side, we have FGSM, the fast gradient sign method, then iterative methods like PGD, and optimized attacks like Carlini and Wagner, which broke many defenses. Black box attacks like square attack or hop skip jump need only limited model feedback and still succeed.
And model stealing, the intellectual property angle.
Yes, attackers can query proprietary models extensively and train a surrogate that mimics behavior, undermining IP and making targeted attacks easier.
Quick reaction. Wow. Now on to prompt-based issues, prompt injection and jailbreaking. Harinder, give us the origin story.
Prompt injection is basically command injection for LLMs, malicious text that overrides system prompts or policies. Identified around May 2022 as command injection and the phrase prompt injection coined by Simon Willison in September 2022. It's different from jailbreaking. Jailbreaking is usercraft to bypass filters, while prompt injection exploits the model's inability to separate instructions from data. Indirect prompt injection is especially risky. Attackers embed malicious instructions in web pages or documents that the model then ingests.
So reading is not neutral. The model can be tricked by content it scrapes. Scary. Next, AI used offensively against people. Scams, misinformation, malware assistance.
Exactly. LLMs can automate highly personalized phishing, generate convincing fake news or deepfakes, and even assist attackers with malware templates or recon scripts. Microsoft's red teaming work specifically highlights models being used to automate scams and persuasive social engineering. These are amplifier technologies. Existing risks get cheaper and easier to scale.
Short reaction, alarming. Okay, flip it. How do we defend? Let's start with robust training.
Adversarial training is the main robust training method. Include adversarially perturbed inputs during training so the model learns to resist them. Madry and colleagues formalized robust optimization. PGD-based adversarial training became a strong baseline. The trade-offs: robust models often lose accuracy on clean data and are expensive to train. And many defenses that looked good were later broken by stronger attacks. Classic cat and mouse.
Data pipeline protections. What does that look like in practice?
Data provenance and audit track. Where training data came from. Maintain whitelists and blacklists. Run data validation to catch outliers. Poisoning detection works by flagging statistical outliers in feature or label space. For LLMs, curated corpora and safety-aligned fine-tuning help, but at trillion token scales, full vetting is practically impossible, so defenses are probabilistic.
So layered defenses, not silver bullets. System-level hardening?
Yes. For models that browse or call tools, enforce a hierarchy of instructions. System policies above developer prompts, above user requests. Use pre- and post filters to detect unsafe content or prompt injection. Sandbox connectors with least privilege, and treat externally sourced content differently to reduce injection risk.
Let's talk red teaming, your specialty. Why is red teaming central, and what are its limits?
Red teaming is essential because it simulates attackers in a controlled way to find vulnerabilities before deployment. It should be system-wide, beyond the model, and automated where possible to scale. Microsoft recommends treating it as continuous, not one-off. Real cases include image jailbreaks where overlay text on images fooled LLM vision into producing identity theft guidance, and checks to see if models can automate scams. However, red teaming is necessary but not sufficient. It can miss systemic harms like long-term bias or societal impacts, and over-reliance on it risks treating safety as purely a technical testing problem.
Quick data point. The US NIST red teaming exercise found 139 novel ways to get systems to misbehave. Harinder, that was a big finding, right?
Yes. The NIST exercise at a conference evaluated multiple vendors and found 139 novel attack vectors, including misinformation and data leakage. The exercise also exposed that frameworks can be too vague to guide practical evaluation, and the report wasn't published, which raises troubling transparency questions. Should these findings be public, like CVEs, or kept secret to avoid tipping off attackers?
Transparency versus secrecy. Huge governance tension. Speaking of specialized defenses, Anthropic's DOE nuclear classifier. Tell listeners the headline numbers.
Anthropic and the DOE's NNSA built a classifier to detect whether conversations about nuclear tech were illegitimate. After a year of testing and red teaming, it identified 94.8% of weapons-related questions correctly, but still missed 5.2%. That demonstrates specialized detectors can be powerful, but are never perfect. There's always a balance between false positives and false negatives.
Metrics and safety rankings are another trend. Microsoft's safety rankings on Azure extended model leaderboards to include safety metrics, right?
Yes, Microsoft added safety to model leaderboards alongside quality and cost, using metrics like toxogen for implicit hate and proxies for misuse like biological weapon guidance. These are helpful starting points for comparing models, but they're not guarantees. The real world is more varied than any leaderboard can capture.
Let's talk the arms race. Automated attackers like Agentic Red are changing the tempo.
Agentic red is research proposing agentic automated red teaming, where LLM-based agents design and refine attack strategies themselves. Reported results show very high attack success rates. Some open models saw 96 to 100% ASR and substantial gains even on proprietary systems. That suggests automated attackers can explore attack space faster than humans, which shifts the risk calculus.
So, automated offense and automated defense could loop at machine timescale. That's wow. Policy angles. Axios talked about safety being reframed as security. What's at stake?
If governments frame AI safety primarily as national security, there's a risk of deprioritizing harms like bias, labor impacts, and long-term societal effects. But in practice, researchers blend safety and security in red teaming, testing for misuse and harmful outputs. The policy framing affects what we defend and who gets empowered to decide.
And the NIST unpublished report showed political sensitivity can hide findings, which undermines ecosystem learning. Should we publish vulnerabilities like CVEs?
There's no simple answer. Publishing helps ecosystem defenses, but full disclosure can accelerate attacks. A middle ground might be staged disclosure, share enough detail with defenders while limiting operational specifics, but setting standards will require policy work.
A few myths to debunk before we close. First, AI security is just cybersecurity.
Not exactly. There are overlaps, validation, sandboxing, least privilege, but AI introduces unique problems. Models conflate data and instructions, are probabilistic and opaque, and can't be patched like traditional code. Defenses must combine software engineering, statistical robustness, and socio-technical governance.
Second myth. Just turn off harmful capabilities.
That's wishful thinking. Filters have false negatives and positives. Attackers can rephrase to evade them, and models may infer sensitive combinations of facts. Capabilities can be limited, but never fully eliminated in complex models.
Third myth. Red teaming will solve safety.
Red teaming is vital but insufficient. It's great for concrete adversarial problems, but it doesn't automatically address bias, long-term societal consequences, or structural governance questions.
All right, closing with future directions and open questions. I'll read a short list and Harinder, you react. Scalable, provable robustness. Possible? Regulatory minimums for defense? Standardized incident reporting? International cooperation versus AI arms race? Human oversight versus automated defense?
Those are the right questions. Provable robustness might work for narrow classes of attacks, but for general LLM behavior, we'll probably rely on empirical testing for a long time. Regulation could require red teaming and disclosure for high-risk systems. Safety labels, like Microsoft's, could be standardized. Incident reporting? Yes, an AI analog to CVEs would help. International cooperation is critical as states weaponize AI. And human oversight will remain essential, even as automated red teaming scales. Humans must set priorities and interpret trade-offs.
Final thought from me, this is not a problem you finish once. It's an evolving frontier. We need layered defenses, continuous testing, policy work, and cross-sector transparency. Harinder, one last quick take?
Keep the perspective that defenses are socio-technical. Invest in provenance, layered controls, continuous red teaming, and smarter governance. And don't be complacent. The tools to attack are getting better and faster. But we're not helpless. The research and operational playbooks are maturing.
Thanks, Harinder. That's it for this episode of Secure AI Sessions. If you're building or governing AI systems, treat security like a product, continuous, measured, and open to scrutiny. Subscribe for more deep dives. Stay careful out there.
Thanks, Maya. Bye, everyone.